1st, 2010. We're watching the live feed from the Gulf of Mexico oil spill. This is the remote operated vehicle at a depth of 5,000 feet, and it has just cut one of the accessory riser tubes on the side of the main tube, which is shown here with oil spewing out of the kink, as it's called. This normally would go straight up, but it's when the rig was detached, it didn't cut the line properly, and it pulled the BOP stack, and the riser tube was bent over at this point, and this is where the high pressure crude is coming out through cracks in that pipe. So what they're going to do is cut this. Basically, they're using hydraulically powered or pneumatically powered rotary saws to cut those secondary pipes, and one has just been cut away. The ROV operator, I think, backed off after he made the cut just to survey the situation, see what their next move is going to be. I believe this ROV has a saw in its right grappler, but it's out of frame right now. So he's just looking probably to cut that one that's directly in front of us, more as the situation warrants. Okay, so now the ROV operator is zoomed in on one of the very closely. It's sort of a clamp-looking device, sort of a thing on the right there that's protruding. It seems to be inspecting that rather closely. Not sure what he's planning on doing. Now, according to the conversations I'm watching on the IRC text channel, where there's a website called the Oil Drum, and a bunch of people who frequent that site have a IRC channel, and they're talking as they watch this. And those secondary pipes are called choke lines. I'm not sure if they're 3 or 4 inches in diameter, and I think what they do is they're designed to either pump mud down or act as some other backup method of choking off the flow of oil. So yes, now they really are taking a close look at this section of the riser that's just below the kink, and seems to be where there's some bubbles coming out. Might be something that they're trying to ascertain what's going on. There's some bubbles on the left, so we'll see. Alright, so the saw has just come back into frame. It's interesting how the aspect that he has it at, which is vertical. I'm not sure what he's planning on doing there. Might be to cut the collar that holds those flat iron sort of. There's 4 of them. Some people refer to them as sort of claw-like clamps. He might be cutting the strap, or he or she, whoever the ROV operator is, might be cutting the strap that holds that on. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Looks like he's going in for the cut. No, he's backing off. Backing off, gonna survey the situation again. The discussion as we watch the ROV going back in, the discussion on the Oil Drum IRC channel is that is saying that they're going to cut this these choke lines out, and then bring in a diamond saw, which is basically a rope, a diamond embedded rope, and then cut the main pipe with that. They would have to wrap it around the main riser tube, and then somehow put it, so that it can rotate around, kind of like a bandsaw that cuts on the inside, which will be interesting. This is no less interesting. Here he is. He's cutting now. He's fired up the saw. You can tell because of all the swirling around it. When that thing hits that pipe, it's just going to obliterate the view. No, maybe not. Well, yeah. Whoa, yeah. Now he's cutting, and it looks like it's resulting in oil coming out of that exact spot. I don't know if that's what they want to achieve, but it seems to be happening. This is definitely as exciting as it has gotten. in some time. All right. Well, he's backed off on the saw, and he's positioning again. Maybe the rotation of the saw was pulling crude down from the leak above, and it just made it appear like it was leaking there. Well, there he goes. He's cutting again. And it's got to be difficult for these operators to make these cuts. I would think they would have two cameras that would give them some sort of stereoscopic vision. Something I might want to ask on the... Oops! Something just happened. I just looked away for a second, and he got maybe a kickback on the saw. The saw's been dropped, and so it obviously kicked the ROV, and yes, now the ROV is looking down to find the saw. It'll be attached to a hydraulic line, and this is something that I find a little odd, because I would think that they would have that saw on a tether that kept it closer to the ROV, because it really does just drop right down. You can see it there in the left. He's looked away now. He's asking his other ROV buddy for some light, I think. But if he looks down again here, you're going to see where it is, right there. Yep. Oh, it just fell. Oh, it just fell again. Wow. We're just going to pause. Well, I don't know if I can pause here. I will pause here and return when this gets resolved, because this is just going to go on back and forth, and we'll see what happens. I'll be back when this is resolved. I guess it is. I think it's another ROV assisting the main ROV with retrieving the saw that had fallen. The discussion is, why don't, as I mentioned earlier, why don't they tether it? Some speculate, the folks on the IRC channel are speculating that they actually don't want it tethered too closely to the ROV in case it gets stuck or ripped away, that it might damage the ROV, so they want that slack in the line. Although it does create some consternation and troubles when they do drop it. They have to go, and I think there's a real danger of this thing becoming entangled in the junk below, in the BOP structure below, with all the mess of pipes and ironwork that has damaged ironwork below. But as you can see, they've retrieved it, all's well, and they're going to go back in for another cut. So here we are again. We're zoomed in on this strap that holds the four spidery claw-like flat iron pieces that are sort of protruding out at north, south, east, and west intervals, 90-degree intervals all the way around the pipe. And I can see that they would want to get that off of there so they can get their diamond rope saw around the main stack. So I think that really is what they're trying to achieve here. He's lining up for another cut. He hasn't activated the blade yet. The tension is palpable. Blade started. He hasn't touched in yet. It's pulling down oil from the plume. It's rotating forward. So the blade's going around in front of us, over the top, and then down, I believe. I believe that's the rotation. The IRC chat on the oil drum, people are like, "Don't cut into the riser, don't cut into the riser." They're just worried that this is going to go horribly, horribly wrong. It looks like the ROV is now positioning the saw for, I'm not really sure how they would even attempt to cut here underneath one of the retaining clamps, retaining strap clamps. I guess that's what we'll call them from now. Somebody speculating on the IRC channel that he's bending the blade back straight by sticking it in there. That's certainly interesting, and could be true. Alright, so now the theory is that he stuck the saw in there in order to readjust the, you can see another ROV in the background has clamped onto the saw. You can see its little grappler just on the right of center